Hi, everyone. It's Linda G. and Sterling.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
Wonderful,
morning.
wonderful Sunday morning.
Today is Sunday. What's the time? What's the day?
The 12th.
The 12th? Oh my God, the time just flew by.
Right. And we had that, that important kind of Memorial Day yesterday, September 11th, with a lot of people observing September 11th. So.
Right.
And then Friday was your birthday, September 10th.
Friday was my birthday. It was a big deal. It's so funny. When I was young, I would tell people on the streets, today's my birthday. Because I love birthdays. And I used to not understand why my parents never thought it was a big deal for them, for their birthdays. It's like,
Sure.
What are you talking? It's cakes and presents. What are you talking? And now that I'm older, it's like, yeah, it's okay. We can forget about it.
Well, I think for all women that I've met, I think when you get to like 26, that it starts counting backwards.
Exactly. It's like, forget about it.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of questions. Thank you guys for all the questions that you've sent. So let's put this show on the road.
Okay.
Is Biden, usually you start off with talking to someone, but not today. Okay, is Biden ready to start introducing serious consequences for people who are lying about elections/vaccines, undermining authority in Congress, or refusing to cooperate with the January 6th commission?
That question covers a lot of ground there.
Yeah.
So what I see there is Biden rolling it out in stages. So I see him going after, let's say news commentators and stations on TV, through some sort of federal guidelines. I do see him holding companies accountable through OSHA. So if OSHA mandates are in place, you have to be vaccinated. Yeah, I think the answer to that question is going to roll out in stages. So Biden will take effects, but across many different areas and using different tools and different ways of going about it. So in the end analysis, they will be held accountable, but it depends on if they're regulated by the FCC and they're a news station, or it's a company and then they've got OSHA guidelines or whatnot.
Yeah. He really showed his strength by telling anyone works for the governor, any business over 100 people vaccinated. And they're all pitching a fit, but that's what a president does.
Absolutely. It's nice to have an adult back in the White House again.
Yeah. So it's in stages. Okay. And also, may we say, I think you said it too. Didn't we feel like September 11th, I didn't see any terrorist action?
Correct. No, I did not see anything.
It was like, well, I didn't feel anything and you didn't either.
No.
And the other thing we predicted, I think that's come true. I can't remember now, but I'll think of it as we go along here. But the September 11th thing that went out, it's kind of, it's got that the families want it. There's really not much in there there's not much in there. So anyway, okay. However, the January 6th is a horse of a different color. Okay, will Biden's vaccine mandate help end the pandemic, or will people still refuse it?
What I get on that is that like the collective benefit for a lot of the effort that he's putting out around the vaccines and the pandemic will kind of increase vaccination levels by like 10 or 15%. So there's still going to be like a hardcore 25% that no matter what you tell them, you tell them the sky's blue, they'll argue with you. So it's like he's going to get to a ceiling, if you will, almost on a glass ceiling. There'll be that 25%. So a lot of what he does will have an effect and it will help us, but that last 25% won't shift. So
okay. This is a good one. Mr. Weisselberg, ex-CFO for Trump org, is due back in court September 20th. What can we expect? When will we start seeing some real justice and accountability?
I was talking to my guides yesterday about a lot of this, and I got to this week, and I know that trial is like a week from this Monday, wherever that is, but I got that this week we're going to see some information coming from Alan Weisselberg and the negotiations of what's going on behind the scenes. So I do see some leaks related to Alan Weisselberg that they're going to help the federal government's case against 45. And I see that. So it's almost in advance of that September 20th court date. Yeah.
Right, right. Fascism has been working to destroy Western democracies, and is infiltrating government positions from local levels on up. They do this with the help of media, propaganda, financial funding, dictators, and oligarchs. They are dangerous and relentless. Will they be able to continue this effort, or will they be thwarted?
So what I'm being told on that is that, so first off, fascism, from the far right's been around since, a long time, right? But what's going to be different now over the next decade is that the money trail is going to be very well understood. So the money that's enabling a lot of these people to get up on their soapbox, right? That money is going to dry up, those channels. So now with all the technology and legal action and Congress, the money trails will be very well understood. So you won't be able to hide, $10 million coming from offshore into some Swiss bank account, and all of a sudden this person is number one in their race. So I hope that answers that person's question. Fascism and the far right been around, but knowing the money trail is going to help that.
That's a good answer. Does the portal near Lake Titicaca in Peru lead to an adjacent universe in which our universe is contained? Aramu Muru is the name. Never heard of that before.
Yeah, that's a doorway. That is a doorway. And in fact, if I remember correctly now, being told it even looks like a doorway. And yes, it is a portal. And yes, there have actually been a number of witnesses that have seen people going in and out of that doorway from like other galaxies or universes.
Wow.
So I feel like what they're being, I just got a cold chill. So
how do I look that up? Do I look up Alumuru?
Yeah, I think you just look up the name of that.
Okay, I'd love to
that
see
monument or artifact, and that is a doorway. And actually, if you research that, people have seen individuals going in and out of that doorway.
Isn't that something? Can you tell me what will become of the current Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson?
Yes, so I see a shift coming up for him. I think his next election it's in line with US presidential elections 2024 for him. But I don't see him making it through to the next term. It looks to me like there'll be another conservative coming in, but more moderate. So, and it's interesting. It looks to me like one of the things he's bragging about, or has bragged about, is he wants a term as long as Margaret Thatcher, but he's not going to make it.
No.
So yeah, it looks like there'll be a shift. Yeah.
When will we finally have to have some serious gun laws in this country?
Well, here again, what I'm being told is this is going to get rolled out in stages, like a lot of things. And I do see in the first Biden term here, they're going to make great progress on, let's say, closing gun show loopholes, the development of biotech. There's already biotech for guns right now, so that person's got to use a fingerprint to shoot the gun. So biotech, and then better registration laws, I'm being told, like the DMV has come up before, where you've got to like renew it every year or 2 years. But then what I see here, what they're telling me is, it's interesting, there's a mental health component to all this. So in the second term of like Biden, there's better mental health programs, so help people with PTSD, for example. So you can help control the guns, but if somebody has bad PTSD and no mental health support, that's going to be a problem. So the answer is in stages, but it's like gun laws and then mental health support and programs to kind of round out the whole solution.
Okay. Gobekli, I don't know how you say this. Gobekli, Gobekli Tepe, Tepe, is a very mysterious ancient site in Turkey. Why did ancients build it and then purposely cover it up?
Can you say the name of that temple again?
It's Gobekli, Tepe, Tepe.
Okay. Yeah, that is absolutely a religious site, or was a religious site. And I think the question is how did it get covered up, or why did it get covered up?
Why did they cover it up?
That what I just got was a shift in the gods. So it's like when you worship a certain set of gods, let's say, and you build a temple or a structure, and then you shift that, then you bury the temple. So this wasn't, I'm being told this wasn't natural disaster like, a volcano or something. This is actually physical people covering up the temple because they were starting to worship a different god, different. Yeah, that's what I get.
Right, okay, that's great. Now, will secretive payments Putin has made to 45 corrupt politicians, anti-maskers, etc., be discovered and revealed?
Yes, and this is all part of the big, money trail thing we were just talking about here. And again, I just see a connection to Alan Weisselberg. This is a very prominent thing for me this week coming up, but it feels like that's almost like the crack in the dam, and then the dam starts to break open. So it's now because he was at the center of a lot of the money. So yeah, when the money trails get exposed, then a lot of this is going to take shape. Mhm.
Okay, regarding anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers, is succumbing to COVID part of their life contract? Interesting.
Well, and I think you know this, but I mean, everything that happens to us is part of our life path, everything. And there are no accidents in the universe. So yes, we all come down here for a unique set of experiences, and that can be one of them. But remember, there's good in all things. And I say that my guides are being very clear about that. So are the angels. There's good in all things. You have to find it. So maybe it's a lesson to somebody that witnessed an event that helps them live a better life. So there's good that comes out of all things, but it is part of a life path. Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, somebody on Twitter was saying their cousin got it, horrible sick, 5 days on a ventilator, the husband, the kids, and then they all are saying it was never COVID. Regarding anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers, is succumbing to COVID part of their life contract?
I think we just answered that, believe it or not. Did we just answer that?
Oh, sorry. What is
Sorry.
the future of the filibuster?
Okay. Future of the filibuster.
Yeah.
Well, I actually see good changes in the filibuster, but here's what I'm being shown. I see two things. I see the powers that be coming to an agreement that the filibuster will be separated from being able to use it for civil rights issues, like for voting or voter rights. So they're gonna minimize or limit the way the filibuster can be used for civil rights issues. And then I also see that they're going to lower the threshold to stop the filibuster. So I'm going from memory. I don't know if it used to be a 2/3 vote to stop a filibuster, and somehow it's going to be much closer to a little over 50%, like 55%. So they're going to lower the threshold to kill it and then change the way it can be used. So that'll help with the civil rights issues. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the voting too.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like a civil rights and voting. I'm throwing that all into the same category. Yeah, because it was not intended for that. Yeah.
How much longer do we
By
have?
the way, let me make a clear. They just want me to jump in on a clarification point here. When there's strict constitutional issues, that's where they're going to limit the use of the filibuster, like the Constitution. So.
How much longer do we have to wait for DeJoy to be removed as Postmaster General?
It's a few more months. I think it could have been faster. Something about, Biden got distracted. I mean, obviously there's a team of 9 governors, I think it is, but it looks to me like it won't be much longer than the beginning of next year. He'll be out, and he'll be out long before the midterms. So. Okay,
because I loved how he got rid of all those people in the military. He got rid of Kelly and Conway, and they were all upset. That must be a paycheck then, right? They must get paid for being on those committees.
They do, and it also helps them when they're fundraising for their own campaigns. So they leverage off that and say, by the way, I've got credibility on this program. Now, by the way, you and I and our guides forecast that months ago that there'd be a cleaning of house by
Yes.
Biden. They said, when is Biden going to be able to get a lot of these people out? And we said, in a few months. Here we are.
He can't say to DeJoy, you're fired, because it doesn't work that way.
Because the board of governors, there's 9 governors
Yeah.
that are on that board. Yeah, but Biden will exert leverage on those 9 governors.
Good, thank you. If a person treated me poorly and I learned a lesson, does that mean that the person didn't do wrong, but what they were supposed to do? That's an interesting question.
Yeah, and this all gets back to, life path and blueprint and lessons down here. It's all school. So the engagement you have with that person was part of a destiny. Absolutely. And then there's a lesson supposed to be learned from it. And there's also supposed to be good that comes out of it. So if a person harmed you and then, you recovered from it, then you help other people not get in the way of that harm. So it's all intermixed in a life path,
Yeah, I've had people that have hurt me. And down the road, I look at it and I say, oh, well, it catapulted me this way.
Exactly.
Love to know what is going to happen to MTG. Will she be jailed for her part in 1/6?
That's was a Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG. Yeah. What I see, I think the question was, will she end up in jail? I don't see her end up in jail, but what I do see is her involved in a lot of legal battles, but these are almost even federal and civil lawsuits, almost like Capitol police officers taking her to court. Her along with a number of other people for liability. They're just telling me Capitol police officers having litigation cases with her. So I don't see jail, but I see a lot of tie up in court.
Are there space wars and evil aliens like Star Trek?
Okay, that's a question. Are there space wars? Is that the question?
And evil aliens.
Well, I've been told many times, and they're confirming it here, that there are battles over territory. So unlike, what happens here on Earth, sometimes people are battling over religion, right? A lot of the biggest wars on the planet were over religion.
Right.
ETs and aliens will battle over territory, but they aren't necessarily evil. I mean, there are some that are, lower level energetically, but more about territorial battles. So yeah, there are some battles.
Okay. What is ahead for the US housing market? Are houses going to become more affordable for the average citizen?
For me, they're pointing to about a 2-year horizon from where we are right now. And the reason it's a 2-year horizon because it has to do with let's say the healing of the economy from the effects of the pandemic. So the pandemic has disrupted a lot of things in the economy and jobs. And so everything's going to get re-leveled out, but it's not faster than about 2 years. So whoever asked this question is concerned about housing prices. They're going to re-level out starting in about 2 years here as the economy comes back to health.
Right. Mayor Bill de Blasio is now talking about running for governor. Do you see him winning?
They're telling me he will run, but he won't win. And interestingly enough, I'll go out on a limb here because my guides are pushing me that direction. I feel like there's going to be a female governor. So I think
there is now.
Well, yeah, but she wasn't elected. I mean, she came in as lieutenant governor. But I'm saying
she'll run and win.
Well, they're telling me there's going to be a female governor that's going to win, and I didn't ask the question whether it was. I can't get a clear answer on whether that's the female governor. It feels like there's another female candidate that's going to come onto the scene. So not clear to me right now, but it does feel like a female governor wins. Yeah.
Will Georgia's next governor be a Democrat?
Yes, by a slim margin. And so, if you look at Georgia politics, I think the last 10 years have been Republicans. Like the 10 years before that have been Democratic, even like Jimmy Carter, right? I think in that was governor. But looks like now it's going to flip flop back, and it's going to come back to being Democratic for the governor. Yeah, for Georgia. Yeah.
Wow. Some people initiate an out-of-body experience by means of drugs, example, DMT. What does your spirit guide say about this, and what really happens when you force an NDE?
So first off, my guides are saying that's not a true NDE. So a real true near-death experience is really guided by your guardian angels, your angels. When you use hallucinogenic drugs, you're really having kind of a medical effect. It's a dangerous effect on the body. And by the way, I know a lot of cultures use psychedelic drugs, hallucinogenic drugs, but the answer to what this person is asking is a dangerous practice, and it's not an NDE. So don't confuse that with being a near-death experience. But it's an out-of-body experience. It's a rather dangerous way to achieve it. So I guess this is really, my guides are issuing a cautionary note to that practice, even though it's being used across a lot of cultures. I get it.
Okay. Will rights and access to quality jobs and social service improve for those with disabilities, especially mental illness and hearing impairments?
Yes, all of the above. And the reason is new tax laws. So there's going to be a much better division in tax laws with, better equality across, taxing corporations that haven't paid tax in, 20 years. But there's going to be a shift in the tax laws. So within about 2-3 years here, a lot of the coffers will be more full, and then the programs will be rolled out. So the answer is yes. Tax laws will generate more revenue for the cost. 2-3 years here, and then these programs will be put in place that will help in these areas. Absolutely.
Right. Will Mexico, I like this. I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask you.
I'll let you answer this one.
Okay. Will Mexico ever be a strong country? Jobs, economic, etc. I saw absolutely yes.
I get absolutely yes as well. But I get the way it ends up, it's going to happen dramatically over the next decade, but it's going to happen because Mexico is going to shift towards a green economy, green technology, and they're actually going to produce products and resources, food and technology that the world needs. So that's how it's going to drive up their economy. So for me, it's got a cold chill. It's a complete shift in Mexico towards green technology, food.
Yes. I definitely feel it.
Yeah.
Sterling, I have a younger sister that is nonverbal with severe cerebral palsy. When I sit and talk to her, I have no idea if she understands who I am or what I'm saying. Please tell me she can understand me.
Spirit always understands. Love always communicates. So at a higher level, first off, as you communicate with your sister, this is a question about her sister, your guides, angels, your spirit are communicating with her. Spirit energy is 100% healthy. So your sister does hear and does get the communications you're feeding across, but it happens more of, let's say, a metaphysical and a spiritual level. And by the way, everybody on the planet feels love no matter what state they're in. She feels the love from you as well. Mm-hmm.
What can your guides tell us about the future of Brazil? Will Bolsonaro be reelected?
I see difficult times ahead for him. So it does not look to me like, I guess there's a two-part question here. I don't see Bolsonaro, is that how you say his name? Bolsonaro? Yeah. I don't see him getting reelected. It's interesting. There's a bit of cheating going on here. It's almost like what we just had with 45. So he gets very, very close, to be able to make it happen, but he loses. And I do see with the next leader in Brazil there, Brazil really turning the corner on having a much better economy, but it's not going to happen until the next leader gets in there. So
right. And when I saw this energetically, when you were talking, I'm seeing like people pushing him, Bolsonaro, like crowds angry at him, because he might try to say, nah, forget it, I'm still, you know what I'm saying, like Trump.
It's a repeat movie of what we saw with 45.
And I see people hurting him. So I don't know
Exactly.
what that is. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, Kremlin papers apparently disclose the involvement of Putin in electing 45. Why hasn't the press reported the story more?
I might have missed the first part of that question. Can you repeat that?
The Kremlin papers apparently disclose the involvement of Putin in electing 45. Why hasn't the press reported the story more?
So what I get on that is that information is available publicly. So there have been a number of agencies that reported on it. It is in the public. And then the other thing they're telling me is that the credibility of those papers are what's being called into question. So that's what's stopping that from being fully immersed into mainstream media is people are challenging the credibility of those papers. That's what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense because the media would love to run with it. With the latest release of the video related to the person that planted the pipe bomb near the Capitol, will they ever identify who that person is?
I got really clearly just now, yes, they will, and it's a woman, and they already know who she is.
Whoa.
But you know what? There's a pair of people involved in this, and the other person that's involved in this is a man. So it looks to me like what they're showing me is the woman actually is the one they see on video placing them, but there's a man that either shoved her around, drove her around, laid this out. So there's a pair.
The bombs, yeah. So I don't feel like it's Green or any congressman or anybody. It feels like
no. This is a radical homegrown element. Yeah.
Okay. Will drone reforestation technology be a key player in the global effort for the future of the world?
And did that question about just the global effort? Is that what that is?
The drone reforesting technology.
Oh, reforestation. Yeah, reforestation. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's already, they just told me it's already off to the races by a number of countries. So this technology, this drone technology for reseeding trees is already off to the races. And I see the capability when it gets deployed of being able to plant something like 100,000 trees in a day. So yes.
When do you see a female president in the White House?
I just got no longer than 10 years, but could be faster. And it could be faster due to health problems with some presidents.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Love to know, is religion practiced on other planets?
No, not religion as we know it, as we practice down here on Earth, because a lot of the other planets or species, they align to the one force. So different type of an understanding of how everybody's connected. So they don't use what unfortunately we refer to as like archaic kind of guide, so that they don't use the same kind of wisdom or religion that we use down here on Earth. No, they align to the one force. They understand that. Yeah.
What do you guys say about future hurricanes for the rest of the year?
And is that worldwide or what?
No, well, I think this person lives in New York and went through the flooding.
Sorry, I might have missed that. It does feel to me like there's at least 2 more coming over the next 4-month period, but they won't be anywhere near as strong as Storm Ida.
Okay.
So somehow they're showing me 2 more over the next 4 months. Yeah.
I have lost several pets over the years and worry about doing euthanasia for them. Do we get forgiveness for having to ease their suffering?
Yes, but here's what's interesting, and let me just preface this answer by saying that sometimes people put a foregone conclusion when they ask a question, like this person said, do you get forgiveness? There's really no forgiveness required because this is all part of a divine plan, and animals know when it's their time, and animals are part of the angelic realm and they're here to help us. So no forgiveness is required. I just got a cold chill. It's all part of the plan. It's all part of the universal plan. So yeah. By the way, I was going to mention that to you. I noticed that a lot of time people ask questions where they already assume the outcome. Like, just that question is a perfect example. Do I get forgiveness? No forgiveness required. So some questions they already set up the answer in a way that it's not even the right answer. So.
If everyone has a spirit guide guiding them, why do so many people do evil things?
So it's kind of like, let me give you an analogy. What they're telling me, it's kind of like everybody has a team. Like you have your accountant and you have your banker and you have your lawyer and you have your coach, and everybody can prep you as well as they can. And then they say, okay, go in the game and go get them. And then you completely run the wrong direction.
Right.
So, you don't have to listen to your team, but it's all about them helping to guide you while you're here. Yeah.
Right.
So.
And I went through some stuff, I wasn't listening, but I came out of it thanks to them.
Yeah.
Do we have the same personality each time we reincarnate, or are we completely different people?
Well, your soul and your spirit is the same as you move from lifetime to lifetime. And it's kind of interesting. It's almost the way people will feel a certain way as a child. And even when they're 80 years old, they still feel like the same person. So your spirit and your soul certainly feel the same. However, you can come in with different personality attributes. You might be extremely shy one lifetime. Maybe you're extremely outgoing the next. Maybe you're an actor and actress. So the artifacts of your personality, but your soul and spirit stay the same. I think that's the question you're asking. Yeah.
Right.
Because
Afghanistan.
remember, I was just going to say really quickly, remember, it's all about how you elevate and learn and how your spirit elevates energetically. So it's you. It's still you.
There's that basic you that you can tap into on a higher consciousness, and
exactly.
Usually it's joyful. So
yep.
Afghanistan has $1 trillion worth of mineral deposits that the world desperately needs. China and Pakistan are interested in extracting the minerals, especially the lithium. Why isn't the US interested in the minerals?
I got high risk without the reward. And I think this person's asking about lithium, and lithium is available worldwide from a lot of countries, including China. I think China is the third largest producer of lithium. By the way, what I'm also being reminded of, the reason that the world's going crazy over lithium right now is for battery technology for EVs, electric vehicles. But there's a new battery technology coming up here, which is sodium ion. So I guess long story short, a couple things going on here in this answer. The risk is very high for the US to go there and get it. The US can get lithium from other areas of the world. And within 10 years, or maybe less, there'll be sodium ion battery technology, kind of remove the big demand for lithium. By the way, I happen to know this, there's only a certain amount of lithium in the world. We even know exactly how much there is.
So it's good we're switching because they're saying, even cars aren't going to be available till 2023.
They're saying what
this
now?
Battery situation. Vehicles won't be available.
Oh, you're shifting over from combustion technology, oil and gas to electric. Yeah.
So I know I saw this question, and you'll have to forgive me because there was a good amount of questions this time. Yeah. Did I ask you about September 18th?
Yeah, I think that was the big, let's see.
I know I flagged it in my mind and said, that's a good question. And then what's going to happen September 18th?
Oh, maybe we didn't. I think you asked about, sorry, the trial coming up for Weisselberg on the 20th.
No, September 18th, psychics are saying it's going to be huge.
Oh, got it. So what they're showing me is a number of skirmishes like around the country. I'll call them skirmishes. So people kind of, running at municipal buildings and things like that. But I do feel like the FBI, our federal government, armed forces, they're very well aware of it. So nothing is going to go widespread. Well, I say widespread. There'll be a lot of skirmishes around, but they'll all be contained,
right?
Including one at the Capitol, but it'll be contained. So
okay. Donald Trump showed up at a fire station yesterday. I guess too much pressure because everybody's saying, where is he? And he went over there. I didn't really see too many firemen around him because I don't know if you've heard the news, but now they found out that the government under Trump siphoned millions of dollars from the firefighters fund for the sick ones. Millions.
Mm. Yeah.
That is so cruel. It just doesn't make any sense. So, okay, do you see anything coming up next week?
Well, I alluded to some of this earlier, but I do see something happen with Alan Weisselberg that we're going to become familiar with here. And you know what? And that's going to lead to more information coming out. Yeah, it will. Absolutely. And you know, and there's more violence coming up this week around the country, just having to do with, you know, people very frustrated what's happening with the pandemic. Unfortunately, I do see a lot of that. Unfortunately, there's like pandemic mask related violence that's coming up. But all in all, I think we're on a trajectory here. We're starting to turn the corner. So with, you know, the pandemic and look, the pandemic and the Lambda and the Mu variant are still going to be factors, but I do see progress being made here around the booster announcements.
Yes, thank you. I feel the booster coming up at the end of the month.
Yeah, and they're all going to get rolled out in a way that's going to mitigate the effects of Lambda and the Mu variant, which is the next one. So we're starting to turn the corner. Yeah.
And do you have any information that your guides want to share?
They do. And this is one that rings very close to my heart. They said they want everybody to acknowledge music when you hear it. And this is like music when you hear it in your head, like all of a sudden the song pops in your head, or all of a sudden you're driving around, you hear the same song all the time, because what they want people to know is that this is a message either from your guides and angels or from family members. So
Right.
just another way that they want people to be perceptive, to acknowledge music when you hear it. If you keep hearing the same song over and over again, there's a message in that song. I just got a cold chill again, where your family members are trying to communicate with your angels and guides. So just an extra little tip as we walk through life. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I love music. Music can change your whole energy.
Oh, absolutely. Music, well, all frequencies resonate with human beings, and music has a lot of frequencies in it. Absolutely. Yeah. So
And I really love what music can do to a motion picture. You know, it's beautiful.
It does. Yeah.
I love that scene from Out of Africa when it first starts and he has her on the plane, you know, and that Out of Africa theme. It was wonderful. Okay. Yeah. So that's it, my friend.
So now we have time for karaoke.
Karaoke. There you go. I've tried karaoke a few times. It was fun.
I'm just going to mention real quickly, because I get asked all the time, if anybody needs to reach me, it's just sterlingpsychicmedium.com, and you look for the book online tab. So
awesome. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, you guys. It'll be 2 weeks. Next week, we're doing Dead Famous.
We are.
With Andrea and
Andrea from Lilac Lantern.
From Lilac Lantern. Wonderful,
and
wonderful.
I'll be in your channel.
Yeah, it'll be on my channel. Then next time we'll be on your channel. Okay.
All righty.
You all take care. Cheers.
Take care.